Hello and welcome. This is the Daily Reset for Success, where we're bringing you lots of wonderful guests and also information about how to reset your life so we can live happier, healthier, more productive, and don't forget prosperous lives, because that's what we're looking for. And so we want it. I know you want it. And so that's why we're here. And we love it. Today we have some special people. My co-host, Lady Lou. Hi, Lady Lou.
Hello.
And our special friend, Dan Bawden. Dan,
Yay.
I'm so
Good to be
happy
here.
to have you here. I've known Dan for a long time. I think we met at a networking event. Is that true?
Yes, a long time ago, before 2008, around that time.
That's right. When I first started my business, 2008. And Lady Lou and I, we're just thrilled to be able to bring you not only to light for everybody that's watching the show, but we're selfish. We want to hang out with you. So we're just glad you're here.
Yes, we're
Cool.
excited because you've got something so wonderful that I didn't have a clue what could be done to help seniors. And what you're doing is so brilliant. So
Well, thank you.
why don't you lead off and tell us what about aging in place means?
Well, in this country, everybody is aware now that we have a huge senior and boomer age population. The boomers alone are 77 million strong, and I'm in that category myself. I admit
Me
it.
too.
Marian too.
Yeah.
And so we're finding out with this large population that homes, the way they're traditionally built, have barriers and things that are unsafe in them. They just weren't built very well. So they were built with some stupid features like the narrow 24-inch doors that go into a bathroom and
I got
closets, So I see in my construction business, in which we specialize in doing aging in place renovations.
I see right above your head, Legal
Yeah,
Eagle
name of my
Contractors.
company. Yep. That we widen doorways and put in grab bars, but it's way more than that. We do whole house renovations for accessibility if needed, and we're finding out that the baby boomers will often call us to do work in their homes because they're seeing mom and dad having trouble in their home, and they're kind of the caregivers for their parents or maybe just mom. So the idea of aging in place is driven by the fact that people want to stay in their homes as they get older. The vast majority, according to the AARP, almost 90% of current homeowners over 55 have a strong desire to stay at home. And why not? I mean, that's where you have the familiar spaces, and you're like having Christmas dinner, at the table with the family, and all the things that go along with the rituals of home and family and life are centered in the home. And then you've got the boomers trying to create spaces that are safe for mom and dad to come visit their home and also make mom and dad's home safe. So there's a lot of angles to this. Some of my clients are just preparing for the future, like the boomers. Maybe they're in perfectly good health, but they want to fix up their house in advance. And sometimes we get a call from someone who's coming home in 2 weeks from chemo, and they need to have something done right away in their bathroom.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Well, let's talk about real life here. What did I just ask you, Dan?
You just asked me about what aging in place, or before we started filming, about building a house that has like a mother-in-law apartment, a separate suite in the back for somebody else, for a third party. And that's a very common project too. And also adding mother-in-law apartments on the back of existing homes is another popular project. So those work out well. You can have that person have their own separate space, their own privacy, and live most of their hours of the day in their home, but they're right across the way and kind of in your backyard. So if they need to join you for dinner, or if you want to keep an eye on them, see how they're doing, taking their medications or whatever, you can do that because they're close by. So it's a great way of having them with you, but not too much with you. You know what I mean?
Not really with you. Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
There's got to be a lock in between.
Yeah, we
Exactly.
love our space. We got to have space.
If you are listening to this on a podcast, I want you to know that Dan's phone number is 713-723-8850, or you can contact him on legaleaglecontractors.com. And if you're out and you're driving or walking, don't worry, everything is down below in the description. So I don't want you to have to pull over because you can't wait to talk to Dan.
Well, that would be nice. So
Yes.
our address, which is in Bellaire, we have a showroom for aging in place ideas in a real house. So it's not in a strip center. So people can come and tour this and see some ideas that they've never seen before.
Okay, so I want to talk about two of those that
Okay.
I'd never seen before until I went to your house studio, whatever you call your work experience there. Okay, so think about letting the sunlight in. Okay, so he's got these tubes. Now, normally you would just see one maybe in the ceiling, like a round tube, and it would bring in the sunlight. No,
Sun tunnel.
He's got sun tunnels coming in from the side. Okay.
So yes, in the kitchen backsplash, there are
Yes.
some, we call them light cannons.
Light cannon. I love that. That
And
was
they
the
bring
first
in,
time I'd ever seen that.
yeah, I invented that, so you won't see that anywhere else. But
I love
yeah, it's a great way of adding some more natural light. We do have skylights too. I install a lot of skylights because about 20 years ago, I found a brand that actually doesn't leak. Honest to God, doesn't leak ever.
All right. Make sure you put that on my list.
Put that on
okay?
in writing.
I want that. I want a skylight and I want the sun tubes. Okay.
The light cannon things.
Light
So
cannon,
those bring
there you
in
go.
light through the backsplash of a kitchen and light up your countertop. And the light that's coming through them changes throughout the day, or whether it's cloudy or sunny, because they're influenced by the amount of light outside. So it's a kind of a neat, ever-changing effect. I'm glad you remembered that. Well, you have a good memory.
I love your studio, your design studio. So the second thing I'd never seen before was the fact that you could just be, sweeping up your kitchen and you step on a little thing and out goes all the stuff outside. Now I don't know where it goes or anything, but it was just being sucked out. I love that. I thought
It's a baseboard vacuum. It's a back saver. So if you spill something on the floor, rice or cereal or whatever, or there's a cockroach going like this on the floor and you don't want to touch it and you don't want to pick it up, you just turn on this baseboard vac and has a very powerful suction down near the floor, and you just put that cockroach over near there, and it sucks it up in there and it goes away forever and you don't have to touch it.
See? So that was the first time. Okay, the third thing I saw in your house that I'd never experienced before, I'd only seen it on TV on these cool movies, was a bidet. I actually got to sit down and experience a bidet.
Yep. Well, you don't have to give us the gory details of that, but I wouldn't want nothing too graphic here. But yeah, the bidet seats can be put on an existing toilet, and a lot of people don't know that. They think they have to buy a whole toilet thing.
Right?
But no, you can just buy the seat, which has a seat warmer, so it's electric, always warm when you sit on it. It's actually really nice, even in the summer, but especially in the winter months. And it has a wand that only comes out when you're done doing your business. So it's very sanitary, and it's basically a car wash for your bottom. So it washes you, and then a blower comes out and blows you dry. So you just sit there and enjoy. I'm surprised my employees get any work done at all.
You can read your book while
fun.
you're waiting, it's blowing dry. Okay,
Blowing
we're dry.
dry.
Okay, good.
Exactly.
Oh,
So the women especially really seem to like the bidet seats. Another serious application of those is if you're taking care of mom and she has trouble with toileting and you're the one that has to do the cleanup, if you have a bidet seat, it alleviates you from that task, which is, believe me, that's a blessing. For caregivers or for adult children taking care of their parents, the bidet seats can really be wonderful.
Oh man, that sounds okay. Put me down for one of those as well.
It's on the list.
Okay, all right. Now we have somebody in the audience who has a question.
Sure.
Ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
Karen says, what do you recommend for ramps going in and out of the house? Is there a fold out that you can have so as not to have a lift a portable ramp in and out of the house?
Good question. Well, ramps are something that is absolutely necessary for many people when they get older. but they can be done in a way that is invisible or that looks really good. And there's some that are permanent and there's some that are temporary ramps. So the temporary, or what they call portable ramps, are usually aluminum ones that you put modular pieces together so that they go up the distance that you need to go up to the front porch or whatever. And they have these black patches on them of kind of a gritty material, so it's not slippery at all, but they can easily be removed. And you can even rent them, and then they can be returned, if you want to do that. But they have, pretty big handrails, and it looks kind of commercial. So you might not want to do that. So another way to do it is, and we have one of these actually at our little showroom building, is to do a ramp that's made of plywood, and instead of leaving it wood on the top, we put a really nice non-slip stone like slate. So ours happens to be slate. So it actually looks like part of the front porch, part of the architecture. And that can look really good too, and be removable as well. Another way to do it is to actually pour concrete if it's going to be needed long term, and slope it very gently out to the sidewalk in front and landscape around it, so that gradual sidewalk coming up to the front porch looks very integrated. It doesn't even look like a ramp. If you do that right, it's invisible. Wow. So there's lots of different ways to do ramps, but they need to be obviously out of the right materials and not slippery and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, you don't need to be slipping and sliding when you're in a wheelchair.
Yeah. So like a wood ramp with slate on it might be a 6-foot one, which is pretty typical for the distance they need to be. Is probably about a $1,600 idea. Concrete might be a couple $100 more than that, but because concrete's more expensive. So that gives you some idea of cost. If people have cost questions, I'm happy to answer them, because we do all these projects all the time.
Wow.
Okay, I have a question for you, but I know Lady Lou is excited. Go ahead, Lady Lou, ask your question, and then I'll go.
I have been in your showroom house also. It's been a few years now, but
Yes.
Tell us the address for the folks on this show.
Sure. It's right on South Rice in Bellaire, but the physical address is 5008 Locust Street, like Locust, like the bug, Locust. 5008 Locust Street in Bellaire, and the zip code, if you want to write me or something, is 77401. It's 5008 Locust, Bellaire, Texas, 77401.
And how do you spell Bellaire? Because I know that there's two different ways.
Yeah, there are some different spellings. So Bellaire is spelled B as in boy, ELLAIRE. So it has
Texas.
2 L's and the E on the end.
I'll put that up on the board here.
Do people need appointments to come and see the house?
It's best if they do. It's not mandatory, because my wonderful office manager, Bonnie Hudson, can give people the tour too. She knows the features that we have in the house that might be relevant to anyone that walks in. But I love to do the tours myself. So I would rather that somebody called the 723-8850 number and make an appointment so I can be here to personally walk them through.
Oh, that's your baby, and I know you love it. And just knowing about it has just thrilled me. Now, tell me what it's about CAPS, the Certified Age in Place Specialist.
Wow, I'm impressed that you know what CAPS stands for. Good for you. You're a well-read young lady. Good for you.
You sent me the article.
You did your homework. Yeah. So there's a certification about to do aging in place work for anything you might need to do in the home for anyone's ability. So these courses, there's a 3-day course that people can take, not only builders and contractors, but also medical professionals of all kinds, occupational physical therapists take this class. It's something I created at the National Association of Home Builders in the year 2000. So it's been on the street for quite a while, in partnership with the AARP. So we have thousands of graduates now in America, and we're starting to teach it across Canada. And this is just about how to work with seniors, how to work with people that have special needs of all kinds, whether it's a sensory disability, a cognitive disability, or whether it's a mobility thing. So those all have different things that you do in the house to make the house comfortable and safe for somebody. So it takes 3 days to go through the house inside and out, and be able to spot things and do an assessment, spot things that would be helpful to that family. And we do this in a comprehensive way. So we're not only looking at what's going on in your life right now, but also down the road if you're planning to stay there, which a lot of our customers said, this is my feet first house. I'm going to stay here till they carry me out feet
Yep.
first.
That's how I feel.
Those are the clients we work for that we make these changes for, and we do it with an eye to the future, especially if they have a progressive disease or something like that. But even not that. I mean, so I may not put in the grab bars in various places in the shower now, but if I redo your bathroom, I'm going to put plywood or a special boarding in it so I can put in a seat or grab bars anywhere you want them, and you don't have to worry about hitting a stud.
Wow. There you go.
So there's advanced planning things that we do that can be taken advantage of in the future. We take pictures of that before we tile over it and give that to the customer so that they can see where the board is and where it's safe to fasten things later on. Here's a question.
Karen's got two questions. So the first one is, my sister has a wood ramp, but my mom is temporarily with us while my sister gets her house repaired. So it's quite an adjustment getting in and out of our 1950s house.
Boy, I'll bet.
Now, let me tell you what her second question is, and you can kind of go over both of them. What about air ventilation? Too cold for mom, so we shut off air vents in, shut off. Yeah, shut off air vents in her bedroom.
Let's answer the ramp question first. So ramps sometimes when they're homemade are too steep, so you have to be really careful. So here's the rule of thumb about ramps. For every inch that you go up, like for most people to step into your house at the back door is about 5-inch step up, you need 5 feet of ramp. So if it's 6 inches up, you need 6 feet of ramp. It's a very simple formula.
Okay.
So you want to be sure that that's not too steep and that it's wide enough. And if it's homemade, it needs to have some 2x4s along the edge of it so that people can't go off the edge, a little curb, if you will. So a very common project in a 1950s house. 50s and 60s, we work on those houses all the time. So hopefully you've got a ramp that's working safely and well for you. On the getting cold venting question, there's actually sort of two things in there, but let's talk about heat. So the cheapest way to add heat to the bathroom, if you're not doing a major remodel, is to put a heat vent unit in the ceiling with a separate switch for the heater. So you turn it on a couple of minutes before you go in the bathroom and it fills it with warm air. But there's another cool thing that we do that most people don't know about called a toe kick heater, TOE-kick, toe kick heater. You know that little space, that indent at the bottom of your cabinets in your kitchen and bathroom when you're standing there?
Yep.
Well, we put, looks like a little air conditioning register under there, but it actually is a blown air heater. So that warms the tile floor, and then hot air by convection goes up in the air and fills the bathroom with warm air. So my wife loves that.
There you go, Karen. There you go. That's your answer.
So those are a couple of good ways to add heat to an existing bathroom by putting in a little appliance that adds that heat. Or if you're really desperate and really on a budget, you just get a portable heater and plug it in. Just be sure that it doesn't stay plugged in overnight. It's just a temporary thing.
Oh, gosh.
I've heard that as we get older, we can't tolerate, the cold. But I'm finding the opposite. I want it 69 degrees in my house when I sleep, okay? Otherwise, I wake up sweating. It's like, oh, man.
I know. Me too. Isn't it interesting how we all have different thermostats, but our thermostats can change as we age too. So that's why a lot of older folks, you go visit them and their house or their apartment is very warm because they like it that way. But I'm with you. I'm always hot. So
yeah. We're hot stuff there, Dan. Okay.
Hot stuff. That's what we are. Yes, that's what we are.
So
very good. Well, I hope that answers the question there.
Yes. Those were all Karen's questions. She might have more. She's living. Yeah, her mom is elderly, and I know that they've been going back and forth. And with the COVID thing, it's just been kind of a nightmare for everybody. Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So my question is, for the audience listening, I'm getting ready to sell in Houston and move north, almost to probably Huntsville or west, somewhere out there. And so I've been looking at the different houses that are available with a mother-in-law, because I have to have somebody with me when we move that we take care of. And so I just find that the older homes give me a headache, because I know all the repairs that are going to be needed. Like, your roof only lasts 10 or 11 years. What's up with that?
Yeah.
It's like you just put it in. Now we got to put a new roof on. It's like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So I'm thinking, and I didn't even know, isn't that funny? I know you pretty well, and I didn't know you did new home builds. I thought you were all remodeling.
No, we do both.
Well,
I
now
started building new homes in the business in high school. I built homes from the slab up.
Oh,
Wow.
So yeah, so you pretty quickly, if the house needs lots of work, an existing older house, you can build a new one. So that's something a lot of my customers look at. Because we do both, we can show them what those cost differences are, and then they can make an informed decision about whether they should move and build new,
Right.
or move into something that needs to be fixed up.
Right. Now, my question is, because I found a house that was really inexpensive, and it's exactly like all the other houses. The problem is, anytime somebody goes to get a loan, it falls through, or they change their mind because it's in the 100-year flood zone.
oops.
And they had to remodel it last time it was flooded. So I thought, all right, it's like a half price of what all the other homes are. And so my question to you, Dan, is, would it be worth it to have it lifted up versus going and buying a new, or building a new one, or doing something like, you know what I mean?
Answer is probably not. That's a pretty expensive process. And then if you still have to do remodeling inside, you start getting up to where you might as well just build a new house that's higher. So the cost of the lifting really varies a lot by how much it needs to be lifted. If it has to be lifted a foot, that's way cheaper than if it's 10 feet. The average is probably 6 feet, but that can be a couple of $100,000 just to do the lift on a 2,500 square foot house. It's expensive.
Yes,
And then you still have to do the renovations inside and hook up the drain plumbing and put something pretty
New
around the
house.
bottom.
New house.
So
It'll be
with new house,
modern.
a lot of good things come with a new house. It may be a little more expensive, but you can get higher ceilings. Everything is new. Everything's under warranty.
Yeah.
So there's
All
just a
right.
lot of good things that flow from that.
I'm convinced, man.
Well,
We're building.
think about this, Marian. If you had that house lifted 6 feet or more, your car is still down there. Your car is going to get wet if it
Some
floods.
people in our neighborhood in the Meyerland area, they have to have a lift that's at least 8 feet to really park a car under it. But there are people who have done that. They've actually poured a big old slab, it's like a commercial parking garage
I've seen it.
under their house.
We're in the Westbury area, and some of the houses are lifted look like 4 feet or 5 feet, and some of them I'm like,
You're way up there.
I'm like,
Way up.
why?
Well,
Why build
I
it
mean,
so high?
you have to really love your home to pay the extra. And FEMA has given some grants that help with that, but they never pay for all of it.
No.
So you still have to have the cash to pay for a good portion of the lift. Probably the cheapest lift you would do would maybe be $30,000 to $50,000 if you just go up a foot or two. But those high lifts are really expensive. They're always over $200,000 for a house that's 2,500 square feet or more.
No, thank you. No.
And then, these homes weren't built to be up in the air. So I call them Jenga block houses. I'm not convinced
it
that
doesn't
they're
look
going to be that they're going to be safe 20 years from now, because that slab really wasn't designed to be up in the air, even if you have piers under it here and there.
Wow, interesting.
Think about that.
Yeah.
It's safer to buy a place that's not going to flood if you can help it. I'm on a hill out here in the country. It's going to have to be 1,000-year flood before I get wet.
That's super good. It's nice you sleep well at night knowing that that's not ever going to be a problem.
And you don't
you have that
realize
beautiful
how
view
horrible
behind
that
you with
is.
the birds tweeting and I think I saw a squirrel run behind you. Oh, you might have gotten in your hair back there. It's hard to tell. That's good that you're in the country, high and dry.
I love it.
Going through a flood, it really doesn't, it scars you. Okay. I'm sure if your house burns down or you're in a flood or whatever happens to you, it scars you. Okay. So you can't really, my sister wanted me to move to Dallas, and I have a lot of family in Oklahoma, and all I could think about was tornadoes. Okay. And hail. Okay. So
Tornado Alley. Yeah.
the furthest I'm willing to go is Huntsville. Okay. That's as far as I'm going. And a lot of my friends are like, you can't move out of the area, Marian. You know, how are we going to go out to dinner together? I'm just like, oh no, I have a car. I can drive at least once a month so we can have a nice dinner together, potlucks. You know me. I love my people.
You
I love my,
do.
yes.
Well, there's a lot of nice real estate north, but not that far north. Magnolia, Tomball. You can get some really good values up in those areas without going so far north.
Right. Now, what about lots? Do you supply lots, or do we have to find a lot and then you approve
Usually,
it for?
usually the customer buys the lot, and we build on your lot custom. But if you have a neighborhood or an area you want to look in, we can help you locate a lot. But the lot purchase is a separate transaction done before the building.
Right. So you have to approve the lot, right? Because it has to be a certain height, there's leveled or whatever. Somebody else handles that, right?
We need to see that lot. Once you picked one, we need to see how the house would be oriented on it. You got to consider east-west sun angles and all that kind of stuff. So be sure that the house that you want will fit on the lot if it's really small. So it might be a very rectangular lot, and that's a different house design than a square lot, right?
Right.
So as soon as we have a lot with dimensions, we can do the design that makes it fit like it's always been there and looks great.
It's all about me, of course, and I'm sorry to take us off, but aging in place is really what we're talking about today, and that is Dan's specialty. He has won awards. He has been really immersed in helping seniors stay in their homes, and I just want you to be able to refer him either for yourself or for a neighbor, friend, someone at church, because he does it right. He's very detail oriented. He's kind. He's gentle. He's sweet. And no, he's married. Girls, don't get any ideas now.
I don't think that'll be a problem. But this is my passion, so I appreciate those kind words. I really have loved doing this kind of work. I have done a bunch of work on the national level to try to touch as many families as I can, and to try to prevent falls, which is a very common thing. Once you get really over 65, the possibility of falling, not just in your house, although the bathroom is famous for a place to fall, but even in the grocery store parking lot. I mean, it's all sorts of steps in our lives, and you're just more likely to lose your balance and have a bad fall, and that can cause brain bleeds and really horrible things. So we try to at least make your home safe, so you don't have to worry about that when you're at home, where most of your waking hours are spent. And there are some really good ways to do that are invisible. We have beautiful grab bars now that don't look anything like the ones in your doctor's office at all. And if you come by the showroom, we'll show you what some of those look like. But there's a lot of ways to do this work and make homes safe with doing it very stylishly. And not just looking good, but your style. So there's choices that will fit your particular style, whether it's traditional or modern or clean lines or whatever you like. Well, we can make that happen with beautiful faucets and showers and grab bars and stuff. So it's fun.
And where is the area that you'll work in?
So we generally work in the southwest quadrant of Houston. So that covers all of downtown, north to through Spring Branch. Try not to go to 1960 if I don't have to. If it's a bigger job, we'll do that. And then we work as far as Katy out west, and as far as Pearland down to the south. So that's kind of our zone. And so most of our work is within that circle. There are exceptions, but generally it's kind of southwest quadrant. Yeah, good question. Thank you.
Oh, that's good news, because people need to understand that you can help them. So what they would call you, make an appointment, come see the showroom, and then you would probably send yourself or someone out to see
me.
their home. You go. Okay.
It's just me. I go out. I don't charge to do the estimate. So I go out to their home and listen to the story and find out the details of their family, and then come up with a game plan that fits the budget. And then we do the construction from there. It's a process.
Perfect.
Process
Wow.
We've done many times.
Thank you, Dan. My goodness, this has been such a fun show. We needed to know this, Dan. I didn't know, I've known you for years, but I didn't know everything you do. So I know the people watching and those who will watch the replay will get a better feel for what you do now.
Thank you for the opportunity to put the word out there. Like I say, anytime we can help our seniors or boomers taking care of seniors, that's what we want to do. And we're spreading the gospel on how to do that.
Well, we'll help you all we can.
All right.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for being here.
My pleasure. My pleasure.
And we thank our audience for being here. Karen's great questions. We love having our audience ask questions. So if you're watching live or watching a replay, come on with our live show. We keep a schedule in the Natural Curiosity Facebook group page, so you can go and see who's coming up in the next day or two in the schedule. So thank you, everyone. Thank you, Marian, for all your good work.
Yes,
And
thank you, Marian.
thank you. We appreciate you being here. We love everyone.
My
Bye.
pleasure. Bye, y'all. Be good. Be safe.
Thank you.
Remember, create a fantastic day for yourself. You can do it.